Raghunath, are you ready for this?
What?
The wisdom of the sages trainings that are going on.
Where?
At the Eco Village, the Govardhan Eco Village in India.
Why?
To totally transform your life spiritually.
Who?
You, me, Radha Swami's going to be there. Other great teachers are going to be there. Lots of cool people.
How?
You go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. You find all the information there.
Haribo.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubh Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Monday. It's time to make over your Monday. Whatever you did last week, that's over. It's a new day. It's a new week. We're doing this not 1 week at a time, not 1 month at a time, 1 moment at a time. 1 moment at a time. What will I choose? It's a nice way to look at it.
One moment at a time.
One
Really
moment. I've
shrunk it
taken
down
it.
here,
Okay,
right?
12-step people. I've taken it to the extreme. Not 1 day at a time. That's old school. We're going 1 moment at a time. What will I choose in this moment, Kaustubh? That is the question.
Raghunath, that's always a question.
Yeah. What will I choose? I have an opportunity to choose Krishna or my material desires.
Right. Okay.
I'm here live with Jiva G Life Coaching and Lex from Germany.
No, they are.
And they're here for the Bhakti Recovery Retreat. It's all happening this week at the farm. Bhakti Recovery, and that's blowing up at the 11th hour. I want to do Bhakti Recovery. It's happening.
Okay.
And Radha Swami's coming to Super Soul Farm.
Is that 100% confirmed?
He said you can announce it.
Okay.
Did you see that?
I saw it said it, but it almost seemed like it was a little.
It was
ambiguous.
mysterious. He still kept the element of mystery.
It's like, I hope
I
I can
am
come and
pretty
you can go ahead
positive
and
I
announce
can come.
Yeah, right.
But you can announce it. So this
Yeah.
is really exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting for everybody involved. Well, they say a moment's association with the great soul can change the trajectory of your life. I really believe that. I think it's happened to me. People have come into my life and they've changed me.
All right. For the better. I've dragged you down a little bit, probably. We've had a lot of.
I've had negative people in my life, dark people, evil people doing evil things, affecting me, making me do evil. I believe. Now we become like the people we associate with, and sometimes when you're with these high caliber, high vibe people, they just really touch your heart in such a way where you see the world differently.
Yeah.
I think that's what have you ever had that experience, Mara?
Oh, Mara, yeah.
Mara, I want to hear Mara's 2 cents.
Yeah, I have.
Thank you for that deep, insightful answer, Mara.
Dr. Raghunath.
And that's why we don't let her talk that much. Mara's in the control rooms there. You can tell by her headphones. She's working the dials. Okay. So
Announcement
so
time.
announcements we have, Mara.
We have a Bhakti Recovery Group meeting today at 1 p.m. and an asana class with Zeb for our Patreon members at 4 p.m.
All right. So Patreon members, Zeb is the Yoga Raj. He's the king of yogi teachers. So make sure you don't miss that 4 p.m. This is a community-supported podcast. If you like what we're doing, you go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages. And then you don't just get whatever is happening today. You get a treasure trove, and it will unlock various goodies that we have recorded, pre-recorded classes, workshops, mini trainings, Kaustubh's lectures, Sweet Baby Krishnas, etc.
Yeah.
And really, it's just a way to support what we're doing. Patreon.com/wisdom of the sages, and a big fat thank you for everybody who already supports us.
And we have big plans to kind of like really increase our offerings, big, like on a major level, right?
On a major level, we're serious. We're meeting a few times a week of how to expand this, because the community is already very good, and now we're trying to expand it. We did it with the Sage groups, and we're going to do it with the Bhakti Recovery group, and we're going to do it in so many different ways.
A lot
And
more education, training, a lot more opportunities online. We're working on it.
yeah, as well
May
as
take a few
personal
months
stuff.
to launch it, right? But we're
Yeah,
gonna do
as
it.
well as personal stuff here at the farm. We have ashram weeks coming up.
Mhm.
Excited about it all.
Okay.
All right, so
we got a new
it is a
week
new
with
week.
a
It's a
new
new
nugget
week with
master.
the nugget of the week, the nugget leader, the nugget master, the nugget maestro is Seneca.
Seneca.
Mara, what do you know about Seneca?
Seneca was a Roman Stoic philosopher,
Did you learn
statesman.
this in private school, Mara?
No, I learned it from Wikipedia about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. So tell us some more.
What
Yeah.
was that education for, Mara?
He was a Roman Stoic philosopher, statesman, dramatist, and satirist.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
What is a satirist?
He
One who writes satire. Yeah.
What is satire? Like what is satire?
Satire is like comedy that's kind of mocking something in a way.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Like
mocking.
political satire or something like that?
Often it's political, not necessarily.
Yeah, it's using humor,
Like JP
irony,
Sears?
exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices.
Oh, that was a heavy, Mara.
I know. I was a heavier the definition than I was expecting.
Yeah, right, stupidity. Okay.
Oh, you know what? I didn't say good morning to Kishori Priya from Italy. Good morning, Kishori Priya. By the way, we have a whole Zoom community. A lot of 9,000 of you probably don't even know about the 100 people on Zoom. But if you'd like to join us live on Zoom, you can. We do it at 6 a.m. Eastern time. And you just email Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. And then we get to see your little face and we interact with you before and after the show.
Okay. The announcements are done now. We're
Announcements are
talking
done.
about the Stoic philosopher now.
Hey, sometimes when I see a person that I didn't say hi to, I feel very, very guilty because it could ruin their entire day. You know what I mean?
They're okay. I think
They
they're
may
okay.
not be.
I think they're okay.
They may
right
not be okay, Costuba. We can't assume that.
Well, let's go back to
Yeah,
Seneca.
Jiva G's like, I've been insulted because he skipped over me one day. I mean, it must really hurt a person with abandonment issues if you say hello to everyone, you get to their name, and you just jump over them. And no, generally by mistake,
Okay.
but it could really hurt. Oh,
I
Brooke, I
hurt.
skipped
I'm
Brooke,
hurt
too.
then.
Sorry, Brooke wrote me. Hey, I skipped Brooke. Okay, Seneca. We got a quote by Seneca today.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he was the advisor to Nero, and he
Yeah.
educated
Nero was a Roman emperor, right?
who fiddled while it burns, right?
Isn't it horrible? You've done thousands of things, and that's all you get remembered
Well,
for.
I think that's
He probably was
because-
courageous. Maybe he was a good chef, a good cook, or something like that. Maybe he was loving with his children, but he fiddled when Rome was burning. That's all he's going to get
Well,
drilled at.
maybe because it embodied what he was all about.
I know, but we don't know that. We don't
Well,
know.
there
We
are
don't know the whole
historians that have
story.
looked into this. So in any case, but
All right, tell me that story then.
I
You
don't
know
know
so
the-
much about Nero.
I'm not saying that I do, but I do know this is that Seneca had to he was implicated in a plot to kill Nero,
Ooh.
but it said that he was likely innocent of this, but he was forced to take his own life, and I think that's kind of his thing. Like he was able to handle that, like no problem. Like I can
Take my own life. I can do that.
Yeah, yeah. He had a
Huh.
lot of quotes about life, that a short life is not a problem. It's just the quality, with which you live your life. But let's hear his nugget today. I like his nugget today.
This sounds crazy, but I can't. Oh, here it is. Lost my nugget. Here we go. Let us train our minds to desire what the situation demands.
Okay.
Let us train our mind. I wonder if he said that right before committing suicide. Did he commit
Doubt it.
suicide?
I believe he did, yeah.
That's a dark nugget, Kostuba.
This nugget is not dark at all. We're gonna.
Well, if he'd said this before he killed himself, let us train our minds to desire.
Why would you even
what
connect it to?
the
I don't
because
see any
that's
connection.
how I'm reading it.
Let us train our minds to desire what the situation demands. The
So
way that
he-
I understand that is that I think people take it for granted that we have desires and they just are, right? It's just like there are desires in the mind and we just follow them. The senses have desires, the mind has desires. That's not it's not something that I train, it's just something that exists.
Mm.
And what I do is I train myself to try to get those, to fulfill those desires. So what Seneca is saying, no. actually what comes up in your mind as a desire is something that you can control. You can train it. You know, it's not easy, right? Like when you use that word train, it means like it's going one way and you're trying to, like, over the course of time through repeated kind of work,
Bend it.
you can bend it, you can twist it, you can reshape it, you can transform it, right? And so we have,
Okay.
you know, and I think this is real consistent with a lot of the stuff we were talking about last week about, you know, the different, you could say, applications within the mind, right? These different departments of the mind. And there's this part of the mind called the manas, right? Which it's full of desire. It has its likes, it has its dislikes, and the idea that that can be trained, rather than being always influenced by it, we can train it to actually like what's good for us. You know, and
Right.
that's what yoga is a lot about. You know.
Well, I trained you want to hear my how I did that this morning?
Yes.
I took my freezing cold. I don't know where my water gets imported from, but it must be something like Greenland because it is extra cold. I think any colder, ice is coming out of the faucet. It doesn't get any colder than what's coming out of my
Oh,
spigot.
you still don't have any hot water there?
I don't. I mean, I like to take cold showers, but sometimes I ease into them. But I haven't had hot water in a week, and it's getting colder out. So I just decided my new thing is I usually just say, when I get into that cold shower, I say, I notice sensation, and I don't give meaning to the sensation.
That's your training.
But today I had changed my mind. I did exactly what Seneca said. Let us train our minds to desire what the situation demands. It demanded that I take a cold shower. I had no other option. And so I just went in there and I said, I love this. I love this. This is thank you, Krishna. I love this.
Right.
I did it, and it was great. It's great.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. I'm living this stuff.
You are. I think we all have to be a yogi means to live this. To be a yogi means to train the mind, right? Yoga is a practice which empowers one to overcome the obstacle of the mind for the purpose of the self experiencing its own true nature.
Right. So that's my test for you and Mara tomorrow. Take a cold shower and just say, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not joking.
I understand that, Raghunath.
So you have to do it. Admit to me right now in front of everyone that you will do that.
I'll choose what I want to do.
Oh!
At every moment, I'm making choices. I'm living moment to moment, Raghunath. Why should I say now what I'm going to do many moments down?
One day at a time, Kastuba.
Just one moment at a time.
All righty. Let's get on with our Srimad Bhagavatam. You ready?
We got a new chapter today.
King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt, and his queen becomes angry. This is going to be good. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhavishu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmidatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Readings from Mara. Come on.
Reading from, Canto 4, Chapter 26, Text 1.
Alrighty.
What's the title again?
King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt. Now, are we talking about the allegorical King Puranjana?
He is allegorical. He is only allegorical.
Oh, wait a second. I thought there was a first King Puranjana who wasn't.
King
Prachini
Barhishat is the king that's being spoken to. Narada is sharing the.
All right, so we're still living in.
Puranjana.
We're still living in this allegory.
Yeah, and this chapter it's the king is going to disobey the queen.
So that means the queen represents his mind.
Let's say specifically, the queen is representing a certain type of intellect or a certain type of reasoning, right? And we're going to see a subtle difference now. It's going to come up. So in the last chapter, the queen, the mind was telling him, the reasoning was telling him, we could enjoy this world, right? Together, you and
It'll
I.
be good.
It's going to be great.
It's gonna be great. It's just you and me versus the world.
Yeah, but she was tempting him to live a life of material enjoyment, but within the bounds of the Vedic teachings. Okay. In other words, there's a way to live in a pious way. There's a way to perform the right ritual, to show the right gratitude, to be kind and generous to others. And with this, you can enjoy the material things. You cultivate good karma. You get good results, and you can really enjoy the material world.
Make a lot of money.
You can make
Start an Airbnb business.
I mean, that's part of the idea, right? If you're generous,
upgrade our cars.
If you're generous, then you get good karma, and even what you give as alms to others comes back many times to you, in the future, right? So, but here he's going to actually deny that voice in the mind, and he's going to think about enjoying outside the bounds of Dharma, right? Outside the bounds of the Vedic teachings. So it's going from karma to vikarma, right? You want to explain that?
Karma means we're getting some results. So, but vikarma means you're getting a result that's going to be a little bit harsher because you've walked out of bounds a little. You're going to take your car and you're going to scratch it on the guardrail.
Okay, I don't know if that'll work for everyone, but yeah. In other words, karma, like here we're using the term karma to mean I'm following the Vedic teachings and cultivating good karma. It means that I've recognized that there's a higher power, that I recognize there's value in regulation, and so on. Vikarma is lower than that. Vikarma means I want to enjoy the material world without any regulation. I don't recognize any higher power. I'm more or less on the Dvipadapashu level.
Dvipadapashu. Can you explain that?
I can't. But
two-legged animal. Two-legged animal.
I was going to throw it in Mara, but
I should have been Mamera one.
Yeah.
So what was wrong with my analogy? What was wrong with my analogy?
I don't
scraping on the guardrails.
I just think they needed more than an analogy. They needed to understand these terms. They needed to
Okay. Meaning there are boundaries where there are laws of nature, and when we go off of those laws, it's not like God is punishing us. We punish ourselves against the rules of nature.
Sure.
So that's what I'm talking about. We're driving off the edge of the road and we're going to scrape our car, or we're going to go right off the cliff, man. Okay. We see that a million times.
Especially if you follow Instagram hashtags about it.
Yeah, I saw a really bad one.
Okay. All right. So
you guys follow landslides? Hashtag landslides?
Don't follow that.
Oh my God. All right, ready? Let's get into this.
Yeah. So I was just to further frame this chapter. So again, the self, rather than following the intellect's direction to enjoy this material world in a pious, regulated way, here the self is going to begin to follow another voice in the head, you could say, right? That's saying, no, even that's not necessary. And the way that's going to play out is in the allegory that plays out is he goes out hunting, although the queen doesn't want him to go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Text 1 to 3. The great sage Narada continued, "My dear king, once upon a time, King Puranjana took up his great bow and equipped with golden armor." That must have been nice. "And a quiver of unlimited arrows. And accompanied by 11 commanders, he sat on his chariot driven by 5 swift horses and went to the forest named Panchaprashta. He took with him in that chariot 2 explosive arrows. The chariot itself was situated on 2 wheels and one revolving axle. On the chariot, there were 3 flags, 1 rein, 1 chariot driver, 1 sitting place, 2 poles to which the harness was fixed, 5 weapons and 7 coverings. The chariot moved in 5 different styles, and the 5 obstacles lay before it. All the decorations of the chariot were made of gold." So obviously I can just tell by the numbers of this and that this is some like very detailed analogy about the body and the senses and the mind and the desires, right? Am I in the right direction?
You're going in the right direction. Yes.
It's interesting too how they describe the chariot, because probably like 200 years ago, that would have been like, oh yeah, I understand those like when everyone drove chariots, that must have been like a thing. Like, oh yeah, okay. Like if I said, yeah, it's got front wheel drive and it's good suspension and collision.
They're more familiar with the
yeah, backup
poles
camera.
I'm not sure what poles are you talking about. Two poles.
Coverings of a chariot. What the hell? Yeah, but I get it. Okay.
So would you like to? What I'm going to do now, Rogu, is quiz you if you can guess what these each represent.
Okay. All right, Mary, you can try to see if you can beat me. How about that?
Okay.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking ahead.
So Puranjana represents
the living entity,
the soul.
The soul.
The chariot represents
is me or Mara?
Okay,
you
Mara.
go ahead. You go ahead.
You go ahead. You can have it, Rogu.
The body would be the chariot?
Yes, Mary.
Is it Humiliate Monday? Is that what it's going on? This is Humiliation Monday?
Yeah, so she got it right. The chariot. So in the previous chapter, the body was represented by
the city.
The city
of nine gates.
Yeah. So in this chapter, the body is represented by the chariot. Okay. The bow represents. Some of these are going to be hard.
All right, don't just do it.
Yeah.
Absorption in being the doer and the enjoyer. The bow.
Mara wouldn't.
I wasn't going to guess that.
Okay. If I think you might be able to guess it, I'll ask you.
Okay.
Puranjan's golden armor and the chariot's golden decorations. I'll throw it at you. Any idea what that might represent?
The ego?
No. It represents Rajaguna.
Come on. Just tell us.
Yeah, you could have tried that one. Okay, here's one I want you to try to get. The quiver of unlimited arrows.
Unlimited desires.
Exactly. Boom.
Boom. Got that. Once you said unlimited, I was like, I'm in.
I know, right? Yeah. So he's got a quiver of unlimited desires that he's hunting with, right? But among that, there's two explosive arrows.
Sex desire and greed.
Yeah, these are hard. Ahanta, ego, and mamata, possessiveness.
Maybe I just revealed something about myself in an embarrassing way.
Yeah, I don't even remember what you said. Sex desire and what?
Greed.
And greed. Sex desire and the desire to have a stripe painted down your car. Or sex desire and what was it called? What was that truck that you were driving last weekend?
The Lightning.
Ford F-150
Ford
Lightning.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Okay. There are 5 arrows. These are the activities of the Gyan Indriyas. Seeing, smelling, etc. And there are 5 horses that are moving quickly. Those are the Gyan Indriyas themselves, the nose, the eyes, the ears, etc. That's the horses pulling the chariot at the senses, right? This is similar to what we read in Katha Upanishad, right? Similar.
Yeah.
Okay. The 2 wheels represent sinful activities on one side, pious activities on the other, right? We're trying to enjoy, we're running around trying to enjoy this world, sometimes sinfully, sometimes in a pious way. Getting pulled around by our senses. We've got possessiveness and ego in there. We got unlimited desires.
Been there, done that.
Okay, so then there are 3 flags. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's a revolving axle between those 2 wheels. You'll never get this one. The pradhana, which is something I really wish I understood better because it's described different ways at different times. But from what I understand, it's kind of like the basic stuff that the universe is made out of. And it's unmanifested form. It means more than that, though. Okay, there are 3 flags on the chariot, Raghunath. 3.
3 gunas.
There you go. The 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. There are 5 supports.
All right, stop this quiz. We got 9,000 people just bored out of their minds.
there are the life airs, Raghunath: prana, apana, udana, samana, and Vyana. 5 airs that are moving throughout. Yeah, this is Ayurveda speaks of the 5 different airs that move around the body. They make the different movements of the body possible. The reins is the mind or the manas. The driver is
The soul.
intelligence, the intelligence.
Intelligence.
The sitting place is the heart.
Ooh.
Two poles to which the harness is fixed: lamentation and illusion. Right, we are fixed to that. 7 coverings are the 7 dhatus.
Oh, okay. That's phlegm. Serious. No, I'm serious. That's a dhatu, I think. Bile, phlegm,
mucus, or whatever,
mucus,
yeah. Skin, muscle, fat,
hair.
blood, marrow, bone, and semen.
How did I get phlegm in?
I thought that was one too.
I thought it was phlegm too, right?
Skin, muscle.
Anyway, it's Ayurvedic
marrow.
breakdown of the body.
Okay. 5 different motions of the chariot are the 5 different activities of the karmendriyas. Moving, gripping, etc., etc. 5 obstacles or uneven roads are the 5 kinds of airs passing within the body, the prana, the apana. We just had that. And then there are 11 commanders, which are
Isn't it appropriate to skip this part?
No, it's not. Just hear it out, Raghunath. Just you see, you have a very short attention span, Raghunath.
No, I
Not
don't.
everybody
I'm
does.
putting myself in the
Not
I'm putting
everybody
myself in the seat of everyone else, because Stu, but they're all bored.
But with your own mind, Raghunath. That's
Well, that's what we do. That's what we do. When we're giving a class, we try to put ourselves, extend ourselves into the minds of our listeners.
Okay, so some listeners might be interested in this, Raghunath. Okay,
would
we're
love to
almost
see a
done.
show of
We're almost
hands.
done. We're almost done. Okay, Raghunath. We're almost done. The 11 commanders represent the 10 senses in the mind, right? We get commanded by that.
Yeah.
And the destination, the force where he's going, is the 5 sense objects. He's trying to connect with the senses with the sense objects. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's about to kind of like deny that pious part of his intellect, saying, hey, enjoy this world, but do it in a pious way. He's
Right.
gonna break loose of that. He's gonna drive this chariot of his body into the forest of material enjoyment, trying to enjoy the senses. Okay, next verse, Raghunath. Go for it.
All right. Text 4. It was almost impossible for King Puranjana to give up the company of his queen, even for a moment. Nonetheless, on that day, being very much inspired by the desire to hunt, he took up his bow and arrow with great pride and went to the forest, not caring for his wife.
Yeah, not caring for that other voice, which was saying, do this, enjoy the world, but do it in a pious way.
Oh, I get it. So the queen, even though she was the mind and the desires, it was the desires for evolution on a more materialistic Vedic path. So there's, of course, we speak a lot about pure bhakti, and we highlight that as the end game. And then, of course, there's all these karmic ways to evolve through a Vedic ladder, so to speak. But then there's actually the karmic ways. And so the queen was representing, hey, make evolution through pious ways. And now the analogy is going the different direction. Now it is actually, forget the queen. You've got desires. You can fulfill those desires. Come on, just do it.
Right.
I hate that T-shirt, by the way. Just do it. I was like, oh, really? Just do it. You don't even know what I'm thinking, man. You want me just to do it? It could be a bloodbath.
So
Hare Krishna. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Raghunath.
You don't need to hear that this early in the morning. You don't need to hear that.
You don't need to hear
out.
that.
Sorry.
But what some of the great commentators on Bhagavatam are saying is that, especially this hunting that he's describing, in one sense, in a broader sense, is representing that, again, that blind material pursuit without any kind of dharmic regulation.
Yeah.
But they also say, especially, it refers to woman hunting, right?
Ooh.
In other words, yeah, like, sexually, it has a lot to do with that. Hunting here represents woman hunting. Giving up the wife represents giving up religious principles for sense gratification.
Mm-hmm.
The bow and the arrow represent attachment and hatred, or in other words, what I want and what I don't want. So you're out there hunting in this world for material enjoyment, especially sexually, especially like our desires go there, right?
Yeah.
If we break down all the other desires, like, I want a nice car. Well, why? Generally these things all tie. This was Freud's, from what I understand, this was his theory, right?
Yeah, it's driving the world. It's why you're going to the gym. It's why you're shopping online. It's why you're
Dressing
going
a
to the
particular
mall.
way.
Why you're dressing. It's why you're getting a certain haircut. It's why you're
striving
trying
for more money.
to figure out what is the coolest, latest haircut. It's why you get your different frames of your glasses, because Stua, it's all driven by
Excuse me.
it's all driven by your sex drive.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's the color of Mara's clogs she wears. But I mean, it's deeply rooted, and especially with men, because they're driven by their lower passions. Women are driven by other passions, and these are general statements.
These are generalizations.
I think it's safe to say, but there are generalizations, but there's a reason why generalizations exist. You can't say generalizations should be thrown out. Insurance companies use generalizations. That's why it's
got to be good.
Oh, no, I'm just saying there's some basis in reality.
There's truth in it. Yeah, I get it.
Because there's some truth in it. Yeah. No one's getting down on insurance companies for making generalizations, but they're getting down on everybody else for it. But there's a reason why they're there, and they're not written in stone, of course.
Yeah.
But they're generalizations. So how do we get talking about this? Oh, because any other commentaries on women hunting? Let's do it.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's the ultimate type of it's this whole thing, how lust leads to misogyny, or the hatred of women.
Okay, very good that you're going there. Cruelty, actually.
Yeah, it leads to cruelty, because what happens is lust really means I'm looking at her now as how I can enjoy her. It's got nothing to do with her as a being, a sentient being, a being with feelings and emotions who wants to be loved, nurtured, cared for. It's all got to do with how can I get my rocks off. That is lust speaking. And because of that, you just plow through human beings who are having an experience, and you can go from one being to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's because there's actually a hatred in them as a being. You're not even, you're killing the being. It's what people do in when you see these propaganda films before you go out to war, is you have to look at the enemy as a thing. So it's the depersonalization of a being, a being how can this being be there for my enjoyment? And it's the beginning of like misogyny, of woman hatred. You don't want to hear them. You don't want to speak to them. You want to converse them. You have an agenda, and it's a materialistic agenda. And it's the problem when we're led by lower passions. And that's why I say, unless a man can control their lower passions, they remain a little boy.
I don't know if this is a Christian miracle, but that yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, but that came up on my Facebook, memory thing, and I shared it again.
What was it?
Did you see it? You saying exactly that.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, man.
It's Christian miracle.
I said the exact same thing.
You said precisely that. Yes.
Wow.
And there's a picture of you and me, and you're saying that with like a speech bubble kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is interesting if we're actually, this goes both ways. Women also exploit men in the same way.
Not the same way, in different ways. Oh, they're manipulative. Don't get me wrong. Women don't get a pass.
When I mean the same way is, in other words, they enjoy in cruel ways sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, women are
they
a cruel species.
Yeah, that's a generalization.
We all know that. Men are just like animals, but women they're tricky.
Okay, now let's just ease up on the generalizations right now, Raghunath. Okay. But what I'm saying is that our fantasies are commonly have to do with sexual pleasure, and wouldn't it be nice?
Men's fantasies.
Would you please?
No, I'm just saying we're different.
I'm just trying to make I've accepted that we're different. Okay. Thank you. So what I'm saying is that both male and female have sexual fantasies, Raghunath, and wouldn't it be great, if that actually we were able to pursue that without hurting each other? But the fact is that when we have that idea, let me enjoy with many partners, we create pain and suffering in this world, and there's
they've done that.
And there's really no way around that, like maybe we think, well, I'm a nice guy, but still I want to have, lots. You hurt people.
Unlimited. I want unlimited sense gratification with limited responsibility.
Yeah, and it's going to involve other people.
It's going to involve other people in my sense gratification where I'm the center.
Yeah, it's just a formula that doesn't work. So like a thoughtful person, a person that's actually kind, like right down to the hard level, they can't live that life, right? If they're
Yep.
the least bit sensitive, they're recognizing I'm causing pain, I'm causing suffering in others.
Yep.
Now it's interesting. So this idea of hunting, it being tied to that is very interesting. You know, it's like it causes pain. There's a cruelty in it. It's saying that within that, you know, we think, oh, I'm free and I'm young and this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But not, you know, there's other civilizations had different ideas, you know, about it.
Yeah.
You know, about how this all works.
Well, you know the famous one about my mom.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. That was a nice way to say we don't want to hear about it, but
I didn't say it. You could say it.
all right.
You
Well, the thing about my mom was, you know, we were in the kitchen washing dishes one day, and she's like, she starts getting into
How
one
old
of
were
her.
you?
It was like 5 years ago.
Okay, so recent.
She's like, you know what the problem with women nowadays is? No, she said, no. What was the quote, Mara? You remember?
Something about they didn't sleep with them, right? Like
No, she said, oh
Yeah.
no, she said, oh, here's where
She
her
said she had a
opening.
lot of boyfriends.
Yeah, she
right?
goes, I had
Before
a
she met your
lot of
dad.
I had a lot of boyfriends before I married your dad. I was like, oh, mom,
Stop.
please don't go
Stop.
there. I don't want to hear about this. She goes, I dated a lot of men. And then she goes, but I never slept with them.
Okay.
She goes, that's the problem with women these days. She goes, and you know, she goes, I never slept with them. And they never expected me to sleep with them.
Right.
She goes, that's the problem with men. She said, that's the problem with men and women these days. It's expected. She goes, she said, after 3 dates, if you don't sleep with them, they think you're a weirdo.
Okay, yeah. And I suppose that's
And
true
culture just shifted, and now there's a new normal.
Right. Okay. And so it becomes a field of, you know, of cruelty. It becomes, you know, a space where cruelty is enacted out of selfish pleasure, right? Even though I know I'm hurting people, I'm going to do it because it's my desire and I'm following that desire. So the king is going out, he's hunting. The Charyas are tying it into the idea of sexual desire. But also Prabhupada is kind of playing with it both ways. He's, in a lot of his commentaries in this section, he's speaking about the cruelty of killing animals. So I'm going to read a little bit from the commentary on this text 4. You ready?
Yep.
He says, in this age of Kali, in this dark age that we live in right now, the propensity for mercy, and this is heavy with the way he says it. This is like a perspective. It's like another perspective. Like the way that we grew up, we might not understand this, but you have to view it from his angle. He says, in this age of Kali, the propensity for mercy is almost nil. Like we are almost devoid of mercy.
I think that's safe to say. We're devoid of mercy in a lot of ways.
Well, I think a lot of people say, what are you talking about? I don't want people to be hurt. I don't want, you know, like, I think a lot of people might respond that way. But he's going to tie it into slaughterhouses, you know, like these factory farms, and say that the fact that we can participate in this, the fact that we can allow this, it shows how mercy is lacking in us. Right. So he said, in this age of Kali, the propensity for mercy is almost nil. Consequently, there is always fighting and wars between men and nations. Men do not understand that because they unrestrictedly kill so many animals, they also must be slaughtered like animals in big wars. He's tying these two together, right? Prabhupada was always tying these together. He's saying this is very much evident in Western countries. In the West, slaughterhouses are maintained without restriction. And he says, and therefore, every 5th or 10th year, there's a big war in which countless people are slaughtered even more cruelly than the animals.
Wow.
Sometimes during a war, soldiers keep their enemies in concentration camps and kill them in very cruel ways. These are reactions brought about by unrestricted animal killing in the slaughterhouse and by hunters in the forest. Proud, demonic persons do not know the laws of nature. And if we go back, I think it was last week we were talking about the word demonic, right? meaning
Yeah.
like just entirely ignorant and
Ignorant of spiritual laws and value,
or natural
spiritual
laws.
directions or
Yeah.
natural law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural laws of the material universe.
Right. So proud demonic persons do not know the laws of nature or the laws of God. Consequently, if that's kind of like probably saying, take it either way you want it. Like if you believe in God, we can call it the laws of God. If you don't, then just recognize that there are laws that are operating in nature, right?
Yeah, you can't
Either way.
break them. You could just break yourself.
Yeah.
You want to be cruel? There's a
It's
cruel
coming
reactions
back.
are coming. It's coming.
Yeah. And I'll just finish this up and then we can talk about it because it's an interesting topic. He says, consequently, they unrestrictedly kill poor animals, not caring for them at all. So he says, in this Krishna conscious movement, animal killing is completely prohibited. And so, it's I believe there are many people in this world that want peace, right? That want good, but they're willing to overlook an act of cruelty that they're very much tied to, right? And consciously trying to turn their eyes from it, right? Of just how cruel it is. We don't want to look at it, but it's extremely cruel. What these poor animals have to endure in these factory farms is like, it's just so cruel. And at the same time, we're trying to attain peace in this world, right? It's the same way as like we're, in this animal cruelty in these factory farms in particular, whether it has to do with wars, whether it has to do with pandemics, right? Whether it has to do with the destruction of the ecology and natural disasters, it's all tied in. Prabhupada was pointing at this stuff back when he was writing this stuff in the 60s. He was always pointing at, at this problem with killing animals is a major issue that humanity has to look at and deal with and come to terms with. And if not, we're going to suffer pandemics. He would say this: we're going to suffer natural tragedies. We're doing that right now. We're living that right now, and we're going to suffer wars.
Interestingly enough, vegetarianism was rarely in the conversation in the 60s.
Yeah. I'm not sure. You kind of went out on me, so why don't you just repeat that? I'm not sure.
I said, strangely enough, vegetarianism, veganism, animal rights was not even in the conversation back then.
Right.
It didn't start becoming popular. I mean, for Generation Z's, it just started getting popular. People started talking about it now. That now there's either like vegan options. There was nothing. There was no V marked on your, gummy bears. Oh, these are vegan gummy bears. Good, I can eat these. Vegan marshmallows. Good, I can eat these. There was not that. There was not there. It was just everything was just mixed. There was beef fat in your Twinkies. No one cared. So there's like these things are changing, and they're like almost like with the progression of time now, things are rapidly changing and sort of polarizing in a way. Yeah. And it's like it's almost like our opportunity now to either like, okay, saddle up. There's got to be some changes made, or because the darker seems like even darker than ever. And the lighter seems like there's actually hope to change. But yeah, Prabhupada was speaking about these reactions that are going to happen, and they're manifesting right in front of us.
Yeah. It seems like with pandemics, one of these things is going to crack at a certain point. In other words, the pandemic's going to get to be too much. We can't be locking down every 3 years. We can't live like this. What's the root cause? The root cause is factory farms, right? Or we can't live with our homes being flooded, every year, due to natural disasters. Well, what's the cause of them? You can tie it back to these factory farms, so what, and wars, people are going to have a harder time like tying that in, but it seems like things are going to have to get so bad that the clarity of this message will eventually kind of like rise to the top. And
it's sort of like the beauty and the ugly of the internet. Sometimes with the internet, you can really get of course we know all the ugly of the internet, but sometimes with the beauty of the internet, it can also shine light on very, very dark places of the world, or dark places of our culture, dark places, and things can actually sort of like change the minds of people who are never thinking like that. So I see some light out there.
I see light, but I think it'll be preceded by like more
An
darkness and
abyss.
pain. Yeah.
No,
I
see,
do.
I see. I see light.
In other words, again, like if back in the 60s someone said this, someone said, hey, natural disasters are going to be tied to like how we're treating animals, it'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Or if someone said pandemics are going to be tied to it, hey, we've got cures for that, we no problem. But I think as time is passing, we're seeing we don't have solutions to this.
Right.
And it's just building and building and building, and at a certain point you have to take the medicine, and at a certain point I think humanity is going to say we can't keep living like this. You don't have to entirely outlaw meat, but what you have to outlaw is a factory farm, which is like the grossest manifestation of the cruelty.
It's gross.
Yeah, and by gross I mean not
Grotesque.
disgusting, but gross meaning like it's the most
Oh,
tangible and
the gross, the grandest.
Yeah, in a sense, like that, in that sense. Okay.
Hunting season started yesterday, I think.
Oh,
FYI.
okay.
All right. And that's it. I think it's time for takeaways.
Okay.
Mara, what do you got? You got anything interesting for us? We need. She's like, oh, she's flustered. What's going on,
I'm
Mara?
not flustered. I've got some good stuff.
Oh, you're okay. All right.
Yeah,
She's
I'm here.
flustered. But I caught you off guard.
No, I was ready for you. What will I choose in this moment?
What will I choose?
Moment by moment.
One moment at a time.
It seems like you can't get anywhere if you're choosing like at every moment. It's like
Choose.
A moment's association with a great soul can change your life.
A moment, Kostuba. A moment.
Just a moment. It only takes a minute, girl.
Kastuba breaking in the song now.
Trying to make Roger happy.
Don't fiddle while things are burning.
Don't fiddle while things are burning, Ragnar. Don't burn anything in the first place.
How about I'll bet your soul for a fiddle of gold how my best has ever been. Round the mountain, run.
You're right, Mara. I shouldn't have taken part.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have taken part.
Devils in the house of the rising sun. I wonder if the Europeans know that song as well as we do.
You think
Chicken in the
Europeans
bear
don't
basket,
know
let
anything,
go.
Ragnar? They know. They know.
That's a great. Everyone should listen to
That's
that
a
song
good fiddle.
today. It's some great fiddle work.
Yeah. Let's keep moving.
Okay.
Next one, Mara.
Let us train our mind's desires.
That's right.
Okay. All
Let
right.
us do that.
Sure.
Lust is the beginning of misogyny.
Neck tattoo.
A kind person doesn't pursue unlimited sense gratification.
They don't do that.
Kind person doesn't pursue unlimited sense gratification. Yeah.
You're gonna be kind. You got to be self-controlled.
Yeah.
That's a takeaway right there.
Yeah.
If you're
How
gonna
about
be kind,
there's
you gotta be
light?
self-controlled.
How about there's light, Mara?
There's light. Do you like that one?
Yeah, I do.
There is light.
Okay.
There's light.
You can't attain peace while slaughtering animals.
Nope.
Yeah.
And just do it could be a bloodbath.
Oh,
Just do it. Could be. And
Could be.
doesn't
can't
have to
end
be.
on that. Even I said that when I said it. We can't end on this. What's happening? All right. How about let there be light? Let there be light. That's today's takeaway. Let there be light, people. Or light is what do we say? There's light. Stare into the abyss and see the light. There's light.
Keep working, Ragnar. Just keep trying. You're gonna come up with some.
It's gonna
really
be it's gonna be a great day. How about that one? Have a great Monday.
Okay.
Yes.
Ding, ding. When does the is it tomorrow that the
Bhakti Recover groups.
Bhakti Recovery retreat
What
begins?
time does it start? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Shiva G is like, I was like, what time Shiva G does it start? She's like, I don't know.
I think it's tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon.
So
2 o'clock.
I just got word that it's Michelle Berger's birthday today.
Oh, Michelle Berger.
What's your nickname for Michelle Berger? You having some mother or
Mystic
something?
Mama.
Mystic Mama.
Oh no. Moses Lee said, you are the light to the light of this world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Is that from Godspell?
You're the light
Moses?
to the light
I
of
think
this
he's
world.
signed
A
off.
city on a hill cannot be hidden.
But any
Sounds
city
biblical
on it.
to
I
me.
think it's from the Bible, which is where they got Godspell from. But a city on the hill is not done. You got to be London on your city of God. You are the sinner. You know, we should do a musical, a Krishna conscious musical. I will
Yeah,
even
you go
play.
ahead and,
I'll play a villain. I think I'd be a
We'll
good
do
villain.
it when you've written it, Raghunath. Okay.
I'll be
go ahead and
I'll be
write the-
Kamsa.
Yeah.
I'll be Kamsa. You can be Vasudeva. I'll imprison you.
Oh, you want to do that kind of?
Mara
oh,
can be Devaki. Jiva wants to be Draupadi. Publicly stripped by the cruel Lex. By the cruel Lex.
She would need a wig.
Yeah, you need
When
a
you
wig.
went to pull the wig, it would
Draupadi
come
with-
off.
He de-wigged her. Publicly de-wigged her.